is a an arpeggiation of 3 structures. You're starting out with a power chord on the 7th fret of the 4th string there. So, and you're also going to include the open 5th string all the way. So the first structure is a power chord on the 7th fret of the 4th string. You then play what is called a perfect 4th, which is when you play the same fret on 2 neighboring strings. So you just you keep the index finger on the 7th fret of the 4th string, and then you add the ring finger on the same fret on the 3rd string. I see people intuitively want to do a Bari technique, and you are welcome to try, and it is a solution that sort of works, but to me it always sounds weak. To me it's much harder to get the riff balanced and well sounding, as well as it's very easy to sort of get the sound of of the 2nd string being covered by the Bari as well. But as long as you are able to get a good grip of the string, so you can give it the energy it needs to get the riff well sounding, then of course use that. It's not within my... It's never been a comfortable solution for me. So we had the power chord, and then we had the perfect 4th on the 7th fret of the 4th string, and then we move this perfect 4th to the 5th fret, and then back, and it starts again. So it's... you might want to try to play through it. I don't think it's necessary to do a practicing video on that. So we're going to start to work on the arpeggiation, but we're not going to do it the entire one first. We're just going to get a feeling of the basic pattern. So it starts, as I said, the 5th string is ringing all along in this riff. So what you do, you start on the open 5th string, and then you jump to the top of the power chord, and you go to the lower note in the power chord, which is, so you got 5, 3, and then to the 4th string, and then you play the perfect 4th. So you play the top note of the perfect 4th, so you get, and then you play the 4th and the 5th, and then you go to the top note of the perfect 4th on the 5th string, and you arpeggiate downwards. So it's based on arpeggiating from brightest to the darkest note, except from the start, where you start by going from 5th to the 3rd and then to the 4th. And the rhythm is better just listened to than explained, so I'm going to play it a couple of times here. So this is just the first bar of the riff, and it sounds like this. 3, 4, and then you're gonna go back and stop on the top of the 2nd time you play the perfect 4th on the 7th fret of the 4th string. So once again, you're gonna play this 3, 4. And picking wise, I have, as usually, indicated my suggestion, and I think for the musical result, the brightest notes after they should all be on upstrokes. And actually I think you should play the pattern I have suggested here, but you might find a working solution, and as long as it's balanced and swinging, it's okay. So you just try it out in this practicing video. I'm going to proceed to constructing the first half of the riff, and we do that by playing just like what we did here. And then we just, from this note where we stopped in the previous video, we just play the third string, no, the fourth string, and then the fifth string twice. So well. So, and the last note we play that's the first note in repetition. But note that as you start repeating, this note will be placed on the upbeat after 4, so it's going to be played on an upstroke and then tied into the next bar. And you see in the video that I said that the first note is tied from round 2 and onwards, and I think you will understand it when you start playing the video. So from the previous exercise that ended there, we just add 3 notes, which is the bottom note of the perfect fourth, the 7th fret, and then the open A string twice. So it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we add. Begin again. So, and it's a kind of idea that I can just play it round and round and just enjoy myself for like 10 minutes or something. But I'm not going to do that here because you are going to play it in this video. This was part 1. It implies that there's at least another part, and that is the case. There's 2 parts. So part 2 is very similar. It just has variation in the end. So what we do here, we play first what we did in the first exercise, in the first step of learning the riff. We play this up to there, and then we play a power chord on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, and I think it's a good idea to use in this case use the index finger instead of the ring finger, because what you're going to do is you're going to play power chord and then you're going to slide to a minor 6th, which is just a matter of sliding the index finger to the 2nd fret, and then you're going to play the open note, and then it starts again. So you play up until and you get this 3, 4. So here we go. And if we combine part 1 and part 2, we got essentially what is the riff. And this is repeated, it's used as the basis of the chorus and the basis of the intro and outro. It's most part of the song. But anytime there's any kind of transition to a new part, there's an ending that's being used, and we are gonna give it some attention before we play the entire riff. So what happens at the end when it comes is that you play that part, so up until you have completed the motion on the first perfect fourth. You then proceed to a G. And this is more exactly, it's a G5, but to me it's just a G where I block out the third, which means I just let the fifth string be light touch with the underside of the middle finger, and I play all strings. So instead of getting this little sweeter with the so-called third. So it's a G with blocked thirds, with the blocked third. And then we go to a D, who is also will have a blocked third, and we do this simply by lifting take a D and you lift the middle finger. Like that, and since this is quite intense, it's very likely that you want to have a big, quite large motion, so you probably need to use a thumb mute on the sixth string as well. So what you do, you get 2 chords, and then you do this, which was the end of part 2. So the transition, the ending of the riff will be like this. 2, 3, 4. So, and so you go practice that. And that completes the riff, and we're going to practice the entire thing now. It's, as I said, it's used as a chorus, as different parts in the song, but when it's used as a chorus, it's just repeated. You play until the first ending, the one that's just. You play to that one, and then you repeat again, and the next time you end with the chords. During the intro, there's a lot more repetitions until you go to the G, and you'll be able to cope with that in the song video. I also should mention that as the last chorus turns into the outro, which is also based on this riff, and as this goes on into the transition between them, you replace the G with a C with blocked thirds instead, and you get that by just taking a C and you just lift the ring finger and you let the above finger block it, and you block the first string with the with you block the first thing with the index finger. And if you're having a problem with these blocking techniques, there's a lesson in the general course, level 3, Wishing Well, that focuses specifically on doing these blocks. But this is also a very good place to learn them. So instead of going, it goes, and then to a D, and so. And while I'm also describing the outro, I should also mention that as the outro goes over to the end, you exclude this part, so you get the and then you don't play just the last time. You will see this you will discover this in the song video, and don't say I didn't warn you. Okay, so anyhow, here is the riff.